Stuff. Jonas, how about you, my friend? What's your mornings look like?
Well, the first thing I do, and it was integrated by my mom, is make my bed. You gotta, when you wake up, make the bed. You've completed the first thing, fresh start. After that, I do self-care because, self-care is probably the best thing you can do. Make sure you're feeling good about yourself. Talk good about yourself, number one, because your subconscious doesn't know the difference between you joking. If you talk bad about yourself in any case, as even as a joke, your subconscious does not realize it's a joke. So
Yeah.
always talk positive about yourself all the time. And then I do like a small breakfast, like Trevor said, banana and usually avocado toast for me as well. And then I take vitamins, got to take my daily vitamins, make sure everything's functioning good, let my dog out, go on a walk, get the blood flowing. I don't really work out in the morning. I do it at evening, but I do
It's
do a
okay.
quick little push-ups and a quick workout just to get that blood moving.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, it's not even about the exercise is vital, right? But it doesn't have to be part of the morning routine necessarily. Like it's just what is your routine? What do you have a consistent plan of action? Do you get the blood moving? We had, one of our teammates say she crochets every morning for a little bit, which is like that's the coolest thing ever. Like who would guess? But that's the way she gets her mind right every morning to attack her day. So everyone's gonna have their own thing. It doesn't have to be working out. It could be praying, meditating, but you get the exercise is always healthy, but you don't have to be a gym rat necessarily, right? It's like what works for you to get your mind to where you want it, to where you're more productive and you can conquer your day. And I think not everybody just gets that piece. It's not about getting up and going to the gym necessarily. If that's your routine, go for it, attack it, right? But it could be just walking the dog. It could be going for a swim. It could be just a cold plunge. It could be anything, right? But what's your routine? But have one. And I think that's where a lot of people miss. They just kind of again, and it sets the tone for again being a reacting to your day and being reactive instead of being proactive. Are you controlling your day? Is your day controlling you? And I think so many people get caught up in that in our industry where their days control them, their calendars control them. They are by the seat of their pants, especially the busier you get, which is a good thing. But you lose control a little bit, right? And you lose your business, and your business is running you, and so you're running your business at the end of the day. That's great stuff, guys. Yeah, Lucas. What was the first thing you maybe? Well, did your routine evolve over time, or was it always kind of the same, or like what was the first thing you started doing to
Yeah,
get a routine?
to be honest with you, it was a little bit of a roller coaster for me because I was in the army when I was 18.
Well,
In the
they
army,
give you a routine whether you want one or not, right?
so we're waking up at 4:30, and then we
Okay.
switch night shift. So I was waking up at 6 p.m. and working until 6 a.m. So I was kind of all over the place until I got out. And then once I got out, it was kind of like a free for all, and I didn't even know what I wanted to do, to be honest with you. I was kind of just waking up whenever I wanted. I didn't really have a great direction. And then actually, that's when we met Jordan. He started saying, "Hey, own the morning." And then I saw everybody kind of getting up and getting after it. And that's when it really started changing. Because in this business, I mean, there's not a ton of guidance, right? You're kind of on your own until you find the right place where you're supposed to be. And that's what definitely helped drive me and getting up, owning the morning, getting after it, dialing at 8 a.m., owning the power hour. That really is what changed me in the past year, to be honest with you.
Okay, awesome. Well, I was gonna say, let's rewind that a little bit then, because I think you're giving some good stuff in there. So, because you were very successful when you got here. Like you had your property management business, you were in real estate already, you had a lot of things going. You're a veteran, you had all this stuff cooking. But you're saying so you had your routine when you were in the military, but you kind of lost sight of it after the military, And then when you got back to here, and Jordan preaches it all the time, every day, it's very important. It's not just again just to do it; it's because it's going to make you better, right? That helped you. That's when it kind of changed again for you, is what you're
I
saying.
I would say I probably 3x'd my business by just having some structure, own in the morning.
That's awesome, man.
I was doing pretty well on my own, but I
Right.
didn't have any guidance or structure. So then once you implement that, that was the big game changer. And
That's
then
really cool to hear, man.
if I don't wake up on time, I feel behind. And then you see everybody else in the brokerage getting after it, and then they're getting the deals and they're closing stuff. And it becomes,
Right?
I mean, it's more like a game than work. It doesn't
It's
really feel like
always a game. Yeah, absolutely, man. I agree. Well, that's good stuff, man. It's good to hear. And I fought it for years, man. Believe me. I probably fall off more than I should, but I know what I got to do. You know what I mean? And I always get back on it, but it's not always easy, But just when you see what it does for you, like I can never complain about it anymore because I know it works. You know what I mean? So it's on me to get back on that horse. But that's really cool, man. Trevor, how has like your routine really affected your decision making? Would you say?
Oh, it helps me immensely. So I something that I struggled with for a long time in the business was I'd kind of be very reactive, kind of what you were saying about how the day kind of running you, where I was able to, I talk a lot, right? So I had to kind of dial back some of my I was saying too much, doing too much, and just running after things. And I felt like I was always chasing. And I would set these big goals and then go out and run around and try to achieve them, but I didn't really have like the structure in place. So prior to coming over to Vreeland or 14 Days to Close, I was really again I started to work out on my own at home, just for my own benefit, but it really helped my decision making by having my day start off with a clear head and allowing me to kind of have some time before the kids wake up, before my wife gets up, before I start scrolling through, social media or checking my emails, where I could just have some time to myself, even if it was just 10 minutes of doing just a quick stretch routine or some push-ups or something like that, to where I had quiet and time to myself. So that's what really got me started waking up a little bit earlier than everybody else, because I found that was the only time of the day where I would actually be able to have time to myself. I really don't want to be staying up till 12, 1 a.m. when everyone else is sleeping, right? Because it's not beneficial for the next day. So I figured, well, if I go to sleep at the same time as everybody, but I wake up a little earlier, now I have some time to at least to figure out what's going on with Trevor, and kind of be a little easier for me to not be so reactive, and then be able to plan and be more proactive with my day.
Awesome, man. And Jonas, how about for you? Like in regards to like how you serve your clients, how does your routine like benefit the way you do your business during the day?
Well, I feel like it all comes down to like the discipline behind it. Like when you have the discipline, you have the clear mindset and the clarity to talk to these people and give them the right guidance and advise them in the correct way on how to move forward. If you don't have the discipline or routine, you're kind of everywhere, and that's going to show and reflect on how you speak to people. If you are calm, cool, and collective, you probably have a routine put together. But if you're kind of chaotic and it's a chaos out there, then they're going to feel that same energy. So
That's a great point, man.
definitely
Yeah. Yeah, people can definitely pick up on that, right? When somebody's frantic, or especially in the industry, if you're going to meet somebody for the first time and you show up and you're barely on time, you don't open the super key correctly, you don't know, the lights aren't turned on, the tour is chaotic, the clients are like, ha, 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 ha. Oh, this Jonas guy seems nice, but those are the clients that don't. You go to call after the tour and they don't answer your call again, right? So
exactly.
you're damn right. When you have the discipline, and you can come in and be, like you said, calm and cool, and be prepared. That's where you can provide that awesome service.
Exactly. And
Jonas,
I wanted to pivot on what Lucas said
yeah,
about
good.
in real estate. We have a sales chat and we always post our workouts in the morning and people getting active. And if you don't post in there, you see everybody else's post and you're like, dang, I need to go do something. So I do love how Jordan has implemented that in the company to motivate other people. And it's like a friendly motivation, kind of like competition, but not, you're not competing against each other. It's just helping each other get to
Helping
the
each
next
other.
level. And
Great
exactly.
point, my man. And it's funny you say that because I used to be like, I used to fight everything, man. To be honest, I used to like I don't have to if I can't hold myself accountable, why do I want to put it in there? Like I always even think about everyone else. So selfish minded, right? But when Jordan's like, you dummy. He's like, it's not about you. It's about if you could get one other person to start having a better morning and a better day and being more productive, and they change their life because they saw you in the background, not even saying anything, getting up and doing. They said, "If you can do it, I can do it." Type of mentality, right? And it really spawns. I'm like, well, that's a different way of thinking. It's like such a knucklehead. But it's not about when you stop making it more about you and more about just serving and being better to your people and your clients and your family and everybody else you're in contact with. It really does kind of change things. Jonas, I'm gonna go back to you again. What's the first thing when you started being consistent? I mean, I feel like you've been consistent all your life because you have a 12 pack, but like, 8 pack. But like, what was like one of the first things you noticed in your adult life that that your morning routine impact? Like, what was one of the first benefits you picked up on when you started being really consistent with your day-to-day activity?
I would say it was multiple benefits, but the first one was just really having structure in my life. I used to not be a morning person at all. My parents used to drag me out of bed to get up. That's because when I started my life, I was not had didn't have a structure or a 9 to 5 or anything that I had to be up for,
Right.
and then that totally changed. I
Yeah,
know
different
that
lifestyle.
exactly. I would say other people's opinions, don't let them feel you. Do what you think is best. Don't, if someone's like, "Oh, why are you doing that?" Whatever makes you happy, but make sure you have a routine, but don't let other people's ideas and perspectives pivot you to go a different path when you feel it should go the other way. I think you
Yeah.
should stay headstrong and stay the course.
Trust your heart, right? Trevor, how about you? Like
Exactly.
when you were getting consistent, when you really started building out this routine and realizing the benefits, what's one of the first things that you noticed that was like, wow, this is actually working? I never thought of this before, but it's impacting me quite a bit.
Yeah, so I'd say what I really noticed is how it helped me navigate through the down times of where I wasn't hitting my goals. I wasn't making what I wanted to make, or I wasn't able to do the things I wanted to do because I was still working through my process and my consistency to where, especially in this business, there's a lot of up and downs. I've worked at a bunch of other companies before this. I was a referral base, so I would have some crazy months, and then I'd have these fall off where I wouldn't have a good month for a few months, and I'm paying for stuff and paying for leads and paying for happy hours and stuff and banging my credit card. So doing the morning routine, even prior to coming over here, kind of helped me navigate when not only the highs but the lows more so of just being consistent somewhere in my life helped me kind of see the more of the light at the end of the tunnel, that if I just do the thing the next day and I do the thing the next day and I keep doing that the little becomes big, right? And that's something I kind of even learned from a high school football coach. Just do the little things, and if you do the little things correctly, that can compound into making great activity and great things happen in your life. And really, the main breakthrough I had was coming here, where again, where these guys are always posting in the morning, or I post basically every single day, even days I'm out sick or not in the office. I'm posting, not necessarily always at 6 a.m., but always in the morning time. I'm up to do something, right? So it's really helped me again balance myself out and get myself to another level of income and achievement that otherwise I'd be stuck in that up and down and then feeling sorry for myself and not be able to pick myself back up and get back on the horse and do what I needed to do.
Awesome, man. And Lucas Ossie, the same thing. I think everyone's got like a different journey, right? Or how their day got started and how it's impacted them. Like, what was one of the first things you noticed when you started being consistent with your mornings?
I think it definitely helped me with just being accountable on myself, and also like Trevor said, I'm not a morning person per se, but it made me into a morning person. I am there pretty much every morning. I don't post as much as I should, so I'm definitely going to start doing that a little bit more. But
You're right.
I'm just not the best at posting. I'm usually trying to get in and get out because
Right, right.
I don't really like to be on my phone in the morning because as soon as 8 o'clock comes, I'm on my phone the
Yeah,
rest of the.
the rest of the day you're on it. Absolutely, man. Good point. Good point. Well, good stuff, guys. And I think it's that, there's some common themes, right? And I think it's those morning wins, like from making the bed, right? To just getting out there and just getting something done. Those wins in the morning and those little bits, those stresses in the morning are positive stresses because the rest of the day isn't so bad. Like you've got some wins already stacked for the morning. So when that bad call comes in, or that you have to make that bad call or deliver some bad news or news that you isn't the best news, but it's the real news, and we have to be transparent with the situation, right? It just makes that stuff really not seem like that big of a deal because you've kind of already like got your day going, and it doesn't take you out. You know what I mean? Like some like they'll sit there and stare at their phone for an hour before they make the call, before they eat the frog because it's like it's a big deal, and it can be if you let it be, but if you're already kind of like stressing yourself and stacking some of these wins, it just makes life a little easier for the rest of the day. Good stuff, guys. All right, when the noise settles, the ideas start moving. One thing I noticed, man, when I really start getting into a consistent routine, and it happens every time, it's amazing how if I fall off and if you get back on, it just comes back pretty quickly. But I feel like some of my best ideas, my clearest visions are when I'm working out or when I'm exercising or when I'm on a walk or when I'm meditating. But like all happens during those morning routines. I feel like I just feel like I get so much more juice for the brain during these times. Anybody agree or feel the same way?
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Elaborate, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean,
go
that's the
ahead.
best time to kind of get your thoughts going. And like I said, it helps me because it's some time to myself. And where speaking of Lucas, you're on the phone constantly, whether it's someone pinging you, whether you got to make phone calls, whether it's text messages, emails. If you're posting your own social media just for business wise, not even scrolling for the doom scrolling or fun scrolling
Right.
stuff, like there's still you still got to kind of dip your toes in there and kind of post and ghost as they say and get out of there if you can. But you still get caught up on there. So if you can just have some time to get a little mental clarity, I think I read that Einstein had thought of the theory of relativity while he was riding on a bus, just sitting there staring out the window and staring at it, and he saw a clock. And so started thinking to himself, "Hey, what would happen? What happens to time as I'm moving around?" And started to put together in his head the theory of relativity, just because he was bored on the bus and had time to think. So it's like your brain does the best thinking when you're able to have a clear head and some time to yourself. Which on modern time, again, most people on the bus have they're reading, they're on social media, they're watching a video, they're listening to a podcast. There's no time to actually listen to your own thoughts.
That's, actually, it's funny you say that because I was going to actually lead into like one of my next question was like, do you get some of your best ideas tend to come to you when things are quiet? And I think again, a lot of this stuff, the byproduct of this routine really is like it's going to help give you presence to being in the moment now. You're not worried about the future or complaining about the past. You're going to start thinking more with gratitude, right? Having these ideas come and this clarity come. So it's kind of right around the same page, man. Um, you know, Lucas, do some of your best ideas come to you when things are quiet?
I can't even really think about any good ideas when everything is like all hell's breaking
Right? How
loose.
do you, right? But it's
Yeah.
amazing how they kind of pop into our brains randomly, like the clock, right? Sitting on a bus and the clock, because your brain is stable, right? It's just quiet, and I was never into meditation, never understood it, never even thought about it. I just thought I'm like, never crossed my mind, but I do it every day now. It helps keep my brain right. You know what I mean? It's like some of the I look forward to just that quiet time where I can try to turn the dial down for just that 5 minutes, even at lunch, just to kind of make it so the rest of my afternoons can be even more peaceful. In my brain, right? Because it's all theater of mind in a sense.
I'd say early morning and late at night is pretty much all the ideas and
Yeah,
everything
man.
down for sure.
Yeah, again, it's not about just becoming a gym rat. And the fitness is one of the biggest byproducts. Is you're going to start getting in better shape and feel better. But sometimes the greatest benefit is just becoming calmer, more grateful, and more present because it affects that benefits everybody around you too. You know, I know. Jonas, how about you, my man? Like, what's the biggest mental or emotional benefit you've experienced from just having a routine?
I would say for me, like what's really beneficial, I love the ocean and, thankfully we live in Florida, the great Florida state, the ocean's all around us, right? So for me, sunsets, I like going to the ocean if I have time. If I don't have showings or closings or whatever the case may be, I love going to the ocean at sunset by myself. It really calms me out. Just go away to where there's no one else and just look out to the ocean, brainstorm. It gives me a lot of mental clarity. And also, I'm very grateful of like everything that's happened to me in my life. So that's where I also take the moment to sit back and thank God and thank everything, have major gratitude towards everything, and it helps me have that clearer mindset. And it gives me the ideas as well. Especially if I have a problem. And back to your other point of having those hard conversations or hard phone calls, that is probably the best thing to do is have those phone calls. Don't wait. You can even call the buyer, whoever it is, or the seller and be like, "Hey, I'm not going to text you about this. This needs to be said over the phone." It shows how mature you are and it gives them respect. So that is also very important.
Amen. And I think having the strength to do that a lot of times comes from just having that clearer mind or that easier brain, like that the things are settled, right? If you're chaotic, it's like you're just thinking of all these reasons why you're not going to do it, right? And you never take the action. As we know, we're all about the action in our business model. Well, good stuff. Lucas, have you found yourself like becoming more present with other people after you've had your morning routine in place? Like, does that help any with just being present with
I'd
with
say
in this?
present and super resilient, to be honest with you,
I
because in
like
this
it. Yeah.
just things are gonna go wrong. One that comes to mind, Trevor, is Mr. Franz. Remember him?
Yes.
So
Yes.
that comes to mind. Like once you start doing deals, like it's great if you close all of them, but obviously it's not realistic. So if you lose one or two along the way, it's just you got to figure out how to bounce back and then just continue moving forward. And that's
Yeah.
what really helps, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And Trevor, with you, and same stuff, right? Like the routine, does your routine help reduce stress or help you handle stress better?
Oh, 100%. So I would tell you,
We're
uh,
kind of in a stressful business, right?
yeah, I mean, for a few years ago, I would be very, again, reactive. I would, I would probably blow up on something silly at home where, like, my
Been there.
family would be like, what, I just asked you to take the garbage out. Like, why did you just explode? And it had nothing to do with the garbage or turning the TV off or
Mhm.
cleaning my laundry up or any of that kind of stuff, right? It was other stuff that I had festering inside that I wasn't addressing, and I wasn't doing the right things with my routine, where I was letting, again, that stuff drive me, and then trying to put on a brave face, which all that does is just let it build up inside you to where you can have an explosion or be very reactive, where you try to drown that out with other things like drinking or other stuff like that, where it's like, ah,
Mhm.
no big deal, forget about it. And to Lucas's point, it's really helped me be more resilient, to where it's like, hey, on to the next thing. I've had several times where I've gone to the gym and I didn't have it at all that day. Like I kind of suck, right? I'm not feeling good. I don't feel like I look good. I can't lift anything. I hurt, everything hurts, but I still did it, right? And then afterwards, I'm like, I felt better, even though in my head it was a terrible workout, right? Where I signed up for some classes sometimes, and there's an old lady in the class next to me doing the routine, and I can't do it. I'm like, I don't know what the heck is going on
Making
here.
it easier, right?
Yeah, like,
Right.
what's happening? There's
Yeah.
some 60-year-old lady next to me, and she's killing it, and I'm like, I can barely get through the class, and I'm toweling myself off every 5 seconds into the routine, and she's over there killing it. But at the end of the class, I still felt good and I still got it done, right? And again, you're not going to have it every day, and it's again not always about that actual like fitness portion of it, but that at least that's something that I can at least accomplish throughout the day. Where later on, when I do come up with some adversity, whether it's with a deal or a tough one like we had with our mutual client with our France, who this guy had all these issues going on. He didn't make his deposits. He had issues with credit. He was repairing his credit. He didn't repair it. We had him in contract by some miracle for going on to almost 2 months, and the guy never made his deposit on the earnest money
Holy cow.
on it, right? And we were wheeling and dealing and getting him moving, and then all of a sudden it got exposed, and we were like, yeah, he didn't make it, and he probably isn't qualified, and he probably isn't this, and it was that was a deal that made both of Lucas and I like kick into the stratosphere for the month, right? But also, if we lost it, it's okay because I got more. I'm feeling okay personally about it. Whereas previously, had I not had my doing my routine and not been in the right mental state, that would have crushed me. I would have avoided talking to him or avoided talking to the listing agent as much as I could, and then I would wait till the last minute, tell the people, get yelled at, and feel terrible about myself, and then go the next day, be like, man, I just ruined my whole month, and this is what I suck, blah blah blah. All the negative self talk too comes along with that, right? So the resilience is really what helped me just let more of those other things where, hey, that client, we did our best to get that guy into a home. We did everything we possibly could. He just couldn't do it, right? But we did everything we could, right, to get that guy moving, and it didn't work. Where I was able to let that roll off my back and move on to the next one in a way that I wouldn't have done otherwise.
Got it. So that was my next question. So it didn't close. Okay. But you
Still a
guys
work in
both,
progress. Still
all
a work
right,
in.
still
I
looking
just
for
talked
this.
to him.
You're saying there's
I
a
just talked
chance.
to him. He's still working on that credit. So
And I
yes,
don't
I'm
think you'd
still
be
working
still
on it.
working on this guy if you didn't have this resilience already built up, right? Like this is a true testament to be able to the power of the routine. Good
But what's
stuff,
It was
nice
man.
is
just.
when you don't blow up on somebody, you treat them right, and we can figure out how to guide them. They are going to come back eventually, and that's all about
Yeah,
mindset and not freaking
yeah.
out.
Yeah, no, that's such good points because like when in this business, man, sometimes people they lose their marbles and you got to keep it cool. Like we know just from being in the business for so long, some of your worst deals will close. You don't know how, but they do. And some of your best deals that seem like on paper, sometimes don't even make it. You're like, what happened? I don't know. It was out of your control. But if you're doing the right thing every day and you're managing your stress and you're managing, how you approach everything, it's part of the deal. But again, this routine will help kind of give that base layer of be able to manage it mentally and keep that emotional maturity in place. And Trevor, to your point with just the even if it's a bad workout in your mind, you still did it. It's like I always think to myself too. It's like I have never once to this day worked out or took a walk or did some sort of even basic physical activity where I ever said I felt worse when it was over with. I never, it's always a pain in the ass to do it. I don't want to do it. I'm fighting it, blah, 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 and all these reasons, but I've never once, every time and this is how I stay on track when whenever I fall off, I'm like, even your worst workouts feel better than like, just doing nothing and getting into a routine of doing nothing. 'Cause that can be a routine as well, where you're just like so stagnant and it's amazing how the chain reaction happens. Because, in my opinion, my observation, you guys can elaborate if you like, but like, if you wake up and you do something productive and you get your mindset, you start with those wins, make the bed, eat your breakfast, like do all the right stuff, everything else the rest of the day falls in place too. You tend to eat better, make better decisions the rest of the day mentally, for your business and for personal situations, right? Whether it's food or whether it's, the dinner choices or anything. If you're out to eat, it's easy to stray. We have so many distractions, right? But it's also easy to go the other direction, where if you miss your workout, now you're saying, okay, my day's already shot. Now I can have pizza. My day's shot anyway, right? It's like, it's this, it can go one way or the other, very fast and very hard. And, it's important to be able to control that stuff. That's always been my thing, man. Like, just get that workout done, because you're never going to feel worse, and it's going to keep you in track the rest of the day, even if it's something small. I mean, it's a fraction of what you normally do. Just do it, All right,
Well,
good stuff.
funny thing you said there, Jason, is I use my consistency of my routine to allow myself the freedom to kind of eat what I want when I want. Now, I generally make very good choices. You see what I eat for lunch and what I bring in here all the time.
Right,
I try not to bring in, I don't bring in any type of candy or chips or any of that stuff where I might otherwise eat it if it was here to the office. I try not to have it at home. If I do, I can have it and I don't beat myself up for it.
right,
Where if I go to the movies, I'm going to get a soda and candy and popcorn, and I don't feel bad about eating it. If I want to have wings or pizza, I eat it if I want to. I don't do that every day. That's not part of my routine. So if I allow myself that freedom, then I don't get that negative feedback afterwards of like, man, you're such a loser, you fatty, oh my god, blah blah blah, you shouldn't have eaten that. Where I know I shouldn't eat certain things, but I like a cheeseburger every once in a while, right? Like it's good,
absolutely.
but I don't eat it for
Yeah,
breakfast every day, right? So I kind of treat it as like, if I'm out and I want something, I'm not going to go, well, I'm on a diet, I can't do that. That's
right,
silly. And you set yourself these false boundaries that are almost impossible to upkeep. Like I saw a post from The Rock a couple years back that he does a cheat day every Sunday where he allows himself to have a little tequila that he was probably him selling in his brand of tequila, and then he eats whatever he wants, tacos, pizza, whatever. And he's a guy who's in insane shape, has made hundreds of millions of dollars based upon how he looks, right? And that's super important to him. But he allows himself the grace of a cheat day, so to speak. So this way, it doesn't build up, because you can only go so long in that routine. Like a professional bodybuilder can only cut so long.
right.
It can only add, like there's only so long your body can take that. And then once you break it, that's where most people go wrong with most diets and workout routine, is like, well, I didn't go Monday, I might as well just screw off on Tuesday and Wednesday. What's the point now?
Right, right.
There goes my routine. Now I might as well just eat donuts the rest of the day. But you have this like you're here, and then it's a complete precipitous
Yeah,
fall off, to where if you allow yourself a little bit of grace, and if you're doing it consistently, you can introduce some negative calories into your diet, because the next day you're going to get after it again and again and again, to where it doesn't compound on you, and it doesn't have that whole knock-on effect of like, well, screw it, now everything's over, now I might as well. And God, I guess I segued into the best part of the year, the falling off.
I think while we're at it, well, no, and I agree, man, because like and it's funny too. Like I have a sweet tooth. My kid's to death, but I know it's amazing how when you start doing these routines, even my cravings, I remember like having this mental battle, like I want to eat this, but I really don't want to. Like my mind's like saying I had no desire to, and I'm like almost shocked at myself that I can't believe I'm looking at this piece of whatever, and I don't have desire, I don't really care to. And it was like, to me, that's when I started reinforcing, well, shoot, there's something about this routine thing, because it's just amazing how everything else changes in your body. You still might want it and eat it when you want it, but don't do it just because it's there. You know what I mean? Like it's such a different deal. Like you can start saying no a lot more. That's powerful in its own right, whether in a lot of regards. But it all, or the opposite again. If you don't do it, you eat three donuts instead of one. It's just one of those things, man. Well, good stuff. So here we are, right? So when we fall off, what the hell do we do to get back on? This is a biggie. This is a biggie, because consistency doesn't mean, I think people, You're right, Trevor. It has to be a lifestyle. It can't be like a diet. I guess the curse word almost. Like it's gotta be a lifestyle. This is what I do. Is my routine. And occasionally I want a cheeseburger. Occasionally I want pizza. Occasionally I want to go out and have a couple drinks with my friends. It's like whatever you got to do. But like just if you are maintaining a certain discipline, maintaining a certain routine, you're allowed. You can and not have to worry about it and enjoy life. Right? It's not about being restricted to yourself. It's about making a better self. Right? At the end of the day. But let's talk about this, Lucas.
So
When's the la-
I'm super balanced with my life. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like Trevor. I'm not gonna have a super strict diet. I know I need to cut back a little bit. One thing that I always keep a standard is, again, I'm not so much a gym rat, but I do go. It's what gives you your physical and your mind.
Yeah.
They both align together. Without the one, you can't have the other.
Amen, man.
And that's pretty much what I always keep my standard. I'm not going to eat like crap and then go to the gym too. It kind of defies the whole purpose of it. So just always trying to go 4 or 5 days a week, knowing when I got to cut back and also knowing when you can enjoy. And also that goes with working, right? Working, you can work all day long, but you also need your time for your own self and go on
Absolutely.
vacations and take that time off. And what's the point of working if you're not able to enjoy it?
Absolutely. And I think time blocking and organization and all that's a big part of just the routine stuff. You're building that discipline and it affects everything in that regard. But like think of the last time you fell off, whether it was a major fall off or a little fall off, because I think it's where people struggle. I think that's where things can go really south. I think a lot of people have the motivation, they want to get better, they want to feel better, and they'll start. But then if something goes wrong, that's when catastrophe happens, right? So, what do you do when you do have those moments where, like, hey, maybe I did something I shouldn't have done,
Things are
and I want
always
to get back?
Things are always going to go wrong. Things go wrong all the time. We're human beings, and you just have to hold yourself accountable and just take it one day at a time, right? Usually, I forget what the exact saying is, but you try to get after it for a week, and then after I believe a couple of weeks, it turns into an actual routine. So just hold yourself
Yeah,
accountable and just make sure that you do what you're going to say, because nobody's
the
going to do
habit
it.
loop.
No one's going to end up doing it for you, right? No one's going to come and save you. You have to save yourself.
Yeah, Trevor, what's knocked you off track before?
So, getting an injury, that kind of really it
Yeah,
derails
hit one.
things. Not great. So, one thing I would say for anyone who's trying the routine is to try to get yourself into doing small things. Don't try to commit to running a marathon, right? If you're not a runner, like don't do silly goals. Give yourself, hey, 5 or 10 minutes every day to do something. And like Lucas said, if you can make that happen at least for a week, you could do it for another week. If you miss a day, that's okay. The next day you just start over again. And again, if we're making these as small things to do, if you miss the morning, hey, what are you doing at lunch break? You got 30 minutes, you got an hour, take 10 minutes to do a little stretch routine or yoga or meditation, reading something for yourself. There's always time if you're recognizing it. Number one is that awareness. Number two is then taking the action to do something about it. Don't and give yourself a little bit of grace. And I think that's where people get in that all or nothing phase of where like I'm on this diet, and as soon as it breaks, there goes the diet. I go
Right.
to the gym, and then as soon as you miss a couple of days, well, now the next month comes, and you're getting banged on your credit card again, and you didn't go again, and now you went 2 days out of the month. Well, cool. You're right now. You can make the choice to now change it
Right.
now. Having that awareness of like, well, shoot, I have fell off. It's been 2 weeks and I haven't actually worked out. So I have the struggle with my wife. She does not have, she's not good with routine. So I can't force her to have routines. What I can do is meet her where she is. And whenever I notice that she's getting a little frantic or, she's busy with a bunch of other things, I'll ask her, hey, I know when she goes to the gym, we share the same app. I can see when she's at the gym or when she goes. I say, hey, haven't you been to the gym recently? No, I haven't. I've just been so busy. Okay, how long have you spent on your phone on social media? And she'll laugh and go, huh, I'm not going to tell you. And then
You
I'll
knew the
I'll then
answer.
go out of my way to say, hey, well, look, there's a class tomorrow at 5. Why don't we, I'll come home early and you can go to the class or whatever. I have to give her some space to allow her to do that. But I can't go, well, why didn't you do it? You still the rule.
Right.
I can't get on
Right.
top of her because then she'll never do it. Right. So once I do that, then she'll go and then she'll say, hey, I signed up for the next day too, or Saturday I'm going to sign up. Well, she'll start going out of her way to pick out more spots for her to be able to go. Hey, are you going to be home Sunday morning so I can go to another class? Whereas if I just kind of got on her, why didn't you do it? Well, you didn't do it. You should do what I do. She's not going to do what I do, and she really can't. I go to the gym in the morning, so she can't. We have kids, right? So we have to have the give and
Right.
take. So it's allowing that space for you to kind of be where you need to be, but also don't beat yourself up. If something falls off, easiest thing is recognizing it, having the awareness, and giving yourself the grace to be able to go back to it.
Grace is huge, man. Like, it's okay. It's life. We're humans. Like you said, Jonas. I don't know. Have you ever fallen off track, man? I really feel like you haven't for some reason.
I definitely
Or
have.
have
It's a
you?
great question. I will say
Okay, do tell, sir.
most successful people have fallen the most, but the thing is getting back up because life is going to hit you with anything. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. The biggest thing is getting back up on your feet. But for me, well, a pivotal moment for me is I had a significant other at the time, and she was a major distraction to me to the point where I put off my life on real estate, on business, because I wanted to focus on her and build our relationship. That was a mistake on my end. There needs to be a balance on work and love life, and I
Yeah.
was focusing on that, and that was not good. So I cut things off with that. I got back on track, and that was probably the best thing I could have done. I've locked in, and I don't plan on locking out. So it was
All
definitely a
right.
pivotal moment for me.
Interesting. So, like, if you guys like to the common person out there that maybe doesn't have the consistency, if you guys kind of each you maybe give one, um, like, what's one piece of advice you can give that person to like that seems to always fall off track? What's one little piece of a nugget you can give them to maybe say, okay, how to figure out how to get back on track? Start with you, Lucas.
How to get back on track?
Yeah, like what's one little nugget? If ever, like, what helps you get back on track when you fall off?
To be honest with you, like I said earlier, no one's gonna come and do it for me, right? And I don't do this for myself. I do everything that I do is for my family and everybody around me. I have a bigger purpose. None of this stuff is just for me. So if I don't do it, nobody else is gonna do it. You have to be the driver of your own life. You have to inspire yourself. You need to do what you're saying you're gonna do and hold yourself accountable, and that comes one day at a time. I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. I was nowhere near perfect. I strive to be the best person I can be, even when I fall off. I do what I need to do to hop back on, and that's just with accountability. If you need to get a friend, if you need to check in the morning, just like the thing that we do in the group chats in the morning, everybody checks in and holds each other accountable. Again, that's all you really can do when you fall off, in my opinion, is give yourself the credit that you're trying. Not every day is going to go exactly as planned, and then just continue trying. That's what you have to do.
And it sounds like you have to have a big enough why too, not just for routine, but for our business especially, right? You have to have a big enough why that drives, like find your why if you don't have one, or think about it. Like everyone's got one, sometimes they don't just think about it a lot, right? But that sounds like what you're saying too. If you have that big enough purpose, that's going to be your ultimate driver, because that's gonna be your motivation and your driver all in one, right? It's going to be that's your end all be all.
Absolutely.
Good stuff, my man. Trevor, how about you, man? What would you suggest to that person that's falling off a lot and just can't
Yeah.
seem to get back on track?
Yeah. You stole my thunder a little bit there. So I was really say, like, write down the why. Why are you doing this? And it shouldn't be for, if it's to help others or your family, whatever, but you need to know why. Once you know the why, then you can easily get up. Once you fall off a little bit, look yourself in the mirror and say, well, I wanted to do this for X, Y, and Z for my family, right? Whatever that is. You can look at yourself in the mirror and say, well, I didn't do it yesterday. Can I do it today? Well, you're right. I can, right? It's very easy to be able to get yourself that awareness that you're not doing what you said you were going to do, right? And then B, taking the action to be able to do what you said you were going to do for your why. If you don't have a why, that's where you want to sit down and think about exactly, like, what is it you want to get up for the day and be better for? What is the purpose, right? And once you have a purpose behind it, that can be your north star and your guiding light to keep you on the routine when you don't want to, you don't feel like it, or you fall off and you need to get back on.
Stuff, man. Jonas, how about you?
Well, both Lucas and Trevor made great points, 100%. I would say making a plan of action is the most important. Like Trevor said, look yourself in the mirror, weigh the pros and cons, figure out your why and also your goals. Lay out your goals and then make a plan of action of how to get to your goals. If you're not happy to where you're at, then you might want to change something. You want to make sure you're doing the right things necessary to do the next step. Obviously, it's like a ladder. You can't get to the top in one day. You have to do it one step at a time and make sure you're doing it in the right step and not going backwards.
Awesome, man. I mean, it's like, it all comes together when you start having that just that sense of purpose, right? And I think if you and it's not always easy to figure out. Like sometimes you question it, right? But like, but that's all part of it. If you compound that with this, it's going to drive your routine. Your routine is going to drive your business and it's going to provide for your family. It's going to do all these other things. So it's really important you understand how to tie all that together, understand the big picture behind it all. Um, you guys kind of touched on some of these things, but these are just three recommended books. These are all different types of books, but they're all kind of along the same theme but they're very different, but along the same theme of how to get better every day. Make your bed, as Jonas said, make your bed. If you guys haven't, his name's Admiral William McRaven. He was a Navy SEAL, one of the highest decorated Navy officers of recent times. And he gave a commencement speech, I believe it was to the University of Texas, and it was called "Make Your Bed." And you can YouTube it, search YouTube for "Make Your Bed," and you'll see it pop right up. And it's probably the best 5 minutes you ever watch in a long time, right? It's just so simple, but he just makes such great points about how these small victories in the morning can change your whole dynamic of your day, right? And then he talks about his adversity in the book. He goes deeper, obviously, but obviously I won't give you all the nuggets. But like everyone's got adversity, but this dude, besides being like a Vietnam veteran and going through some really crazy stuff, maybe it was Gulf War, but he was obviously a very accomplished veteran. But he literally jumped out of an airplane and his parachute didn't open, and he lived. So you can only imagine what he went through after that. So it's like, you know, you can do it, right? And how do you get through those trying times, right? It starts with the small wins and atomic habits. Lucas, you brought up the habit thing a lot, right? So you're getting in this routine, you're creating these habits. So it just tells you how to take very small, repeatable actions that compound into major changes. Like if he did and he did all these crazy stats, like 0.1% a day of getting better equates to like this major percent in a year or 2 years, right? And if you're doing these tiny little better habits every day, how much they can compound over time to being revolutionary changes in your life or business, right? You could apply it to business or personal or both, right? And it's how to create habit loops and how to break bad habit loops. So very powerful book. And the last one was Tribe of Mentors, and to me that was really cool too. Again, that's by Tim Ferriss. Tim Ferriss is all about like data and science, right? But he literally just interviewed like 100, I think, of like top performers, heads of states, pro athletes, astronauts, musicians, the people achieving the highest levels of everything you could think of, and asked them all the same questions. So it's kind of a monotonous book. He's asking all these different people the same question, but they all have their own answers what the routines look like. So it's really cool to see everyone's routine that are performing at the highest level in life in all facets of life, right? Gurus, anything you could think of, doctors, lawyers, just the best of everybody. And you'll notice, and there's some common denominators. They all exercise a little. They're not all gym rats, right? Olympic athletes. They all exercise in the morning. They all or exercise, sometimes mostly in the morning. They all meditate. They all have a state of gratitude, or like a gratitude session where they talk to themselves about affirmations and gratitude and just try to be present, right? It's all the same stuff we're talking about. It's amazing how all these different people he's talking, all have kind of the same answers. They have some differences too, obviously, but there's such a common theme there. So just some suggested reading if anybody hasn't read any of those. Highly recommend all three, but they're all different ones too, and they're all available in audiobooks as well. But I just want to wrap up with everyone, like we're at the last minute here. If all of you guys can just maybe give one nugget that somebody could do just to start this path. I mean, obviously they can do a whole routine, but what's one little thing? Because I think if people realize if you can just do one thing differently, wake up a half hour earlier every day, just start with that, right? And then do something in a half hour that you wouldn't have done before. And if you guys can all maybe share one thing that you think would be impactful, something simple too, that you think that maybe might have helped you to start, and it would help them if they were looking to start this journey. Lucas.
If you're not ready to go and work out at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, it's not easy. I still struggle with it at times. There's times where I don't want to get out of bed, but I force myself to. Start with a walk. Just doing a walk in the morning, getting your mind right, 20, 30 minutes definitely goes a long way.
I agree. I feel like I'm a mall walking champion. I walk the river walk instead, but I love walking, man. It just clears the brain, man.
Walking the
Trevor,
river
how about?
amazing. You know, it's you see a lot of
Yeah,
people getting after it, and it kickstarts your morning.
absolutely, man.
Oh yeah,
How about you,
we see
Trev?
you do your 4 miles a day.
That's right. I live there now. It's funny. I never was a walker, but I can't imagine not doing it now, man. It's just my time to be alone in my brain and like let it calm. Again, when you come back, my stressors are there. I feel I'm present, right? I can just. It's not a big deal to have some bad conversations if need be, or have some other adversity in life, whether it's personal or business or what have you. But yeah, it's just for sure. Trevor, how about you, my friend? What's one thing
So for
somebody
me,
can
if
take?
someone wants to get started on something that they can start small, is do your best to remove excuses. So again, don't make yourself
I
like
like it.
where you have to go to the gym. I have to run X amount of miles. I need these special running shoes. I have to have all this equipment. Take away all those excuses because those are always going to be a reason why you can't make it to the gym. It's raining outside, whatever else. Give yourself something simple that you can wake up and do. Like Lucas said, whether it's walking, whether it's just sitting there and meditating. And if you don't meditate, you can just clear your head, right? Journaling, like make it something so simple that you could do it no matter where you are, no matter how you're feeling. And once you start that routine, you could build on it.
You
It's
said
not,
journaling. That was another one they mentioned in the call. I had to go back since I forgot. I knew I was forgetting one. They said scribing or journaling, just writing your
yeah,
thoughts on
there's,
paper was one that they said in
again,
the
that's
Charlie Mender's book consistently.
everybody's in a different physical level where maybe that doing physical activity causes you immense pain in the morning. Obviously, that's not a
Hmm.
great idea to start your day that
Hmm.
way, but mentally you can do something, right? So it's a matter of again stripping away the excuses and giving yourself something so easy that there's no excuse that you can't get it done.
Yeah, just one thing differently than you're doing before in the morning and make it habit, and you'll be amazed how many things come from that. All right, Jonas, what do you have, my friend?
I would say the most important thing, at least for me, and I know we're humans, so our subconscious is very, very important as well. Talk good about yourself, as I mentioned earlier. Don't say the words can't or won't, because those can ruin you completely. Just do it. Like Mikey says, just do it no matter what. No matter what it is, just get to it. Time is money, and time is not waiting for anyone. So you have to go, 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 and just move forward in the best way
That's
possible, but
That
talk highly of
self-talk is
yourself.
big, man. That's big, and I never thought of it for a long time, and it really started. I started doing research on that, and it's pretty huge, how
It
powerful the
is.
subconscious really is, and you don't know it, but all these things you see, you know. This is not kind of along this path, but different. But like one of the ones about the subconscious, like you're the sum of the five closest people around you. You're the sum of the
100%.
five closest people around you. So if you're doing okay, but you're surrounding yourself with some like I was at a point in life where I had some, some just distractions around me where it was fun, but it wasn't a good lifestyle. And I thought I was, but then you start becoming more and more of that bad lifestyle choice sometimes, right? Because you're around it, even though you're doing okay, but you gradually feel yourself slipping. And, I got to a point where I was here, I've been here 10 years now, right? But it's like if you're surrounding yourself around people that are like minded, like now all of a sudden, like that also doesn't matter anymore because this is like should be who you're becoming in a sense, right? But feeding your brain is huge. Jonas, do you do affirmations? Is that part of the self-talk? Do you do any of that?
Yes, I definitely do. And what you said, yeah, the five closest people in your life, that is very, very important. That's back to my point of, my significant other I used to have. I'm glad they're removed because they were weighing me down a lot. But surrounding yourself with like-minded people who are motivated and driven and have goals on top of their goals and then goals on top of those are the people that you want to be around.
Well, that's great, man. Good stuff. And that'll help with the routine, right? It just comes easier when it's amazing how the connection happens and you start doing it automatically. And next thing you know, it's on autopilot and you're talking about this stuff, right? All right,
It's
guys. Well,
contagious.
great job. It's
Very
contagious,
contagious.
man. It's contagious. I agree. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us, audience. Thank you for joining us as well. And you guys appreciate all your time. You guys are all busy folks, so spending it with us means a lot.
Thanks for
Take
having
care,
us.
guys.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
All right.
For
Have a
having
great rest
us.
of your day. Take care, guys.